Hey guys, what's up? My name is Thomas Spark. Welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be checking out one of the best VPNs for Netflix in 2021. So in this list, I'm going to be discussing some of the most popular options, and then I'm going to be later on discussing some of the underrated options that I think deserve more attention or are my favorite options. In the end, it's kind of up to you depending on what you want and are looking for from a VPN. Of course, you can find all the rankings for all these VPNs on vpntierlist.com. So anyways guys, without further ado, let's go ahead and start examining what's on this list. Hey guys, if you want to purchase one of these VPNs I mentioned in the video, go ahead and click on the link down in the description down below. It'll help support the channel. So there's two most popular options people use for unblocking geo restrictions with stuff like Netflix, Hulu, Prime Video, and BBC iPlayer. The first option is NordVPN. Now NordVPN is one of the most popular VPNs out there. Perhaps due to its insanely aggressive marketing campaign and amount of investors, it has a huge budget and it's kind of plastered itself all over YouTube and the web itself. This has kind of led a lot of people to picking NordVPN or maybe even feeling comfortable with NordVPN. And it does have decent speeds lately, especially, their implementation or just rather use of WireGuard has given them really good speeds across the board. NordVPN is very simple to use and easy to start up, and is a good option for noobs who are first using VPN services. Sometimes the popularity of Nord does mean that you might have to switch servers or talk to support to find which servers that are working. And there's also been a little bit of issues in the past with stuff like Fire Sticks not working that well with Netflix. So I can't fully recommend NordVPN perhaps for the best VPN for using it on streaming devices or stuff like that. However, like I said, it is easy to set up. The speeds are pretty good nowadays, and it's very noob friendly and it's very popular, so for a lot of people that could appeal to them. You could get it for around 2 years for $89, which is an okay price, but the monthly cost is a little bit expensive and you really have to go for a long-term subscription plan to get a decent price, which isn't always my favorite option. However, it is an option and it is popular. Number 2 would be ExpressVPN. This is probably the second most popular option people are using for unblocking services. ExpressVPN is more expensive than NordVPN, but it does have a lot of the same pros and actually some of the same cons. ExpressVPN costs around $13 a month or around $100 a year, and by no means is it really cheap. Like NordVPN, ExpressVPN is very easy to set up. It's fairly simple and streamlined, and the applications just work pretty well. It also has pretty good router software as well, and I did a review on that where I actually found that maybe perhaps ExpressVPN, while expensive, could be the best router experience. You can find that video here on the channel, and I'll be putting it right around here just so you can look at the thumbnail. So both NordVPN and ExpressVPN are the most popular options, and they're okay, especially for noobs and people who want an easy to use experience or who just want to use the quote-unquote popular option. Now let's go ahead and talk about some of my favorite options and some of the options that I might find a little bit underrated, which have really cool, unique, specific use cases or advantages over the popular ones out there, like I just mentioned. Number 1 would be TorGuard VPN. TorGuard VPN is around for 1 year. The streaming bundle with code Netflix, you're going to be able to get it for around $60. So already it's cheaper than NordVPN and ExpressVPN. The only downside with TorGuard specifically is that you're not going to get some of the same flexibility as you would with other VPN providers that do work to unblock geo restrictions. Namely, with TorGuard's streaming bundle, you get to pick 2 locations that you will unblock. The cool thing here is that since you're only picking 2 locations and you're unblocking these locations, what are called streaming IPs, which are sort of like residential or dedicated IPs that are assigned to you only, basically they're pretty much unblockable, and Netflix has a much harder time of detecting you using TorGuard with these IPs to unblock streaming services. So they're more reliable and consistent, but like I said, maybe if you want to watch the Australian version of Netflix or Japan version of Netflix or maybe even Russia or all these different areas, you could find the limitations with only 2 locations a bit limiting. However, most people will be fine with the USA version of Netflix and something like Japan or USA plus UK version of Netflix or whatever you can access with the UK IP. So there are some limitations there, but the advantage is the consistency of using those IPs means you're probably never going to have to deal with blockages or rotating IPs or talking to support that much. It is a little bit trickier to set up, but I've made plenty of guides on it, and I'll include one here that I made a little thumbnail. You can search on the channel for that guide. So it's cheaper, more consistent, a little bit trickier to set up, and a little bit more limited, but it does have its advantages. And another good advantage is TorGuard is a top-rated VPN on the channel. It's the main package is extremely affordable, $5 a month or $30 a year without streaming compatibility. And it also gets some of the best speeds on the channel. The customer support is top-notch. And everything else about the company is pretty much really good. So that's a definite pro here. Secondly, PrivateVPN is around 2 years for $50. So it's extremely affordable. The only cons here with the PrivateVPN are that some people find the speeds are a little bit slower. PrivateVPN is using its own servers that it does own, so there's kind of an advantage there with trusting PrivateVPN and their servers. They even have like 2 different companies to make sure that no logs are requested or given away ever from Sweden, authorities, since they're kind of acting like their own ISP in that sense. But so they kind of set up a unique kind of legal infrastructure to make sure they don't ever have to give anything up on you. And it's also like cool that they have their own stuff. I think it's a little bit of a diamond in the rough. It never gets mentioned that much. It works with pretty much every streaming service out there, and it's very flexible. And the people that work there are pretty good. Most recently, they got added to my RVP, which is really nice, and they're very trustworthy and another tier 1 VPN provider. In fact, all the unrated VPNs that I'm talking about right now are tier 1. Next up on the list is the new guy, WiiVPN. You could get this for around 1 year for $40 with code TomSpark. WiiVPN is sort of like private internet access a lot in terms of the functionality. And kind of look and feel, it kind of feels a little bit like ExpressVPN as well. But the cool thing about WiiVPN is that it has really good streaming compatibility for a really good price. It is a little bit newer, so sometimes the application is still kind of working out bugs and stuff like that, but it has made some good improvements for being only a year or so old. You get very good speeds, quite a friendly Discord community that you could talk to, decent support, and the price just can't really be beat. So it's definitely a solid option. Next and last on the list, we have Cactus VPN, which is another underrated VPN out there. This one perhaps gives you the cheapest per year, around 1 year for $38 with code TomSpark. This one also works to unblock almost every streaming service out there with the unique Smart DNS option that they have. You simply pick a region and you can watch pretty much any content anywhere. The application looks a little bit outdated, and sometimes there's some visual bugs, but overall the speeds are very good, the team is very friendly, and it's very reputable as well, and also part of the RVP. Those are some of the most popular and underrated options out there for streaming services in 2021. All of these VPNs do work to unblock most streaming services with their own kind of unique cases, as I outlined in this video. If you want to help support the channel, go ahead and click on some of the links down below. Depending on which one you want to choose, no matter what, it will help support the channel. And I'll see you again in the next video very soon.